Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Winning Wednesday. It's a Winning Wednesday today. Happy Winning Wednesday. It's your girl, Doc. So it's Doc's Success Formula. And I am here tonight, guys. I'm talking to the men tonight. And y'all know how y'all love hearing from our black men. So I'm talking to them tonight. And so we have three. We're going to have some others that'll be joining us. But what I'm going to do is I want them to tell you who they are. I want these kings to tell you who they are. No such thing as black kings, right? Kings, the first king was black. So we don't have to say black kings. So we're going to tell you, these kings are going to tell you who they are. And we're going to start with the youngest first. I'm going to go with the youngest first. And so, Mr. Martez Davis, tell the people who you are and what you do. Tell them everything that you do.
Everything.
Everything that
Okay. First of all, Doc, thank you for having me once again. I'm excited to be here. And good evening to our fellow brothers and kings on here as well, Dr. Abraham and Dr. Jackson. I am Martez Gerard Favis. I do a plethora of things. By day, I am an educator in the K-12 public sector. I currently serve in the role of school improvement specialist. I'm also an author of a personal development book entitled SOAR Successfully Overcoming Artificial Restrictions, which is based on the premise that the only thing that can stop you from being great is your own perspective. I'm also a recording artist. I have my current single out entitled My Stuff, featuring gospel rap artist Carrie the Dreamer. My EP will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. I'm very, very excited about that. I'm also a minister of music at my church, Raymond Word Cathedral in Albany, Georgia, and so many other things, but we're going to stop right there.
Now, the reason I want them to share what they do, because y'all, listen, these are kings, guys. These are kings who are eligible. Now, why are these kings available? Well, y'all got to figure that out. Because listen, that's our millennial king there, telling y'all all these great things he has going on. Author, artist, and guys, if you haven't gotten his CD, make sure you get it. It's available on iTunes.
Correct.
Awesome. I played it on the show before. It's one of my songs that I listen to in the morning before I get my little day started, my stuff. And so make sure you support. We're gonna go next to Dr. Mark Abraham.
Yes, ma'am. Again, thank you for having me. Man, that's a hard act to follow, brother. I just say that. Um, I'm a former high school principal out of Buffalo, New York. I'm currently the president and CEO of my company, MEA Consulting Services LLC. We're noted as being one of the fastest growing consulting companies in the country. And what we specialize in is we train school leaders to lead with a primary focus on helping them increase graduation rates for young men of color. I have a book that's being published by Roman and Littlefield that should be coming out this summer. What success looks like, strategies to increase graduation rates for males of color. It's going to be just a phenomenal book and really help principals and superintendents and future school leaders on strategies, practical strategies on how to increase graduation rates for a population that has the lowest graduation rates in the country. So thank you for having me on tonight. It's late, but you said if I hang out with you, I got to be able to stay up all night. I guess that's what you said at the beginning of the show. So we'll be ready to rock and roll then.
Well, look, there's no such thing as late when it comes to black educators that rock. What's late? What's early, right, Dr. Jackson? What? There's no such thing. You guys notice that I love black male educators. Have you noticed that? Like they are, to me, there is no better man than the black male educator because they are so few and far between. They are a commodity. And so I have the privilege of having three on the show tonight. We're going to let Dr. Marcus Jackson go next. Dr. MJ.
Yes, greetings, brother, and thanks, Dr. Chester, for actually having me again. My current position now is a director of curriculum instruction. I'm actually currently over the 14 low performing schools here in Parish in Lake Charles, Louisiana. My job, my duty, and my responsibility for the past 3 years was to turn low performing schools around, two high schools, two middle schools, and 10 elementary schools. I've actually done that. I'm also an author of 5 books, children's books. because my teacher said I can. School and life, living in the middle, and growing up as a Black man in America, which will actually be released this year, is already done. And 10 Daily Essentials for Principals. And my other book, which is going to be released in the next month, is 10 Daily Essentials for Assistant Principals. Kind of like Brother Abraham, I'm actually in the school improvement business. And I also have my consulting company, Jackson Educational Consultants, where I actually go around the country, and the world rather, and actually provide professional development on leadership to school leaders around the world.
Wow.
And just again, I got to get that plug because you guys don't realize I am the co-founder and CEO of Black Educators Rock. And these are some of my Black educators that rock. We also have a consulting group where we come together because we understand that there are strength in numbers. And so we have Dr. Jackson and Dr. Chika Akua, Principal Baruti Kafele, and a plethora of others who are a part of our consulting group. And so we do help educators in all aspects of education, no matter what your needs are. If you're a part of Black Educators Rock, reach out to us. We will make sure that your needs are met. And so thank you again to my Black male educators who are on the show. Before we get into our talk, guys, I have a phenomenal announcement, and this is for my Black educators that rock. Guys, we are doing a giveaway. I'm going to share the giveaway with you guys. You're the first one to see it. It's a giveaway that I just actually navigated today with a college. They are going to give away a micro credential. And if you don't know what a micro credential is, it's just that it's a credentialing. It's a credential that you'll have from a graduate institution. And this graduate institution is the American College of Education. They're now one of our partners and sponsors. And so they are giving away a 9-hour distance learning and engagement course for free. It's I think a $9,000. It's over 9,000. So it's 9 credit hours, I know. And they are giving that away for just $100. You just have to pay your application and processing fees. And so I'm going to share that flyer. I'm going to be sharing the link. But listen, this is for our Black Educators Rock members. So now, if you're a Black educator that rocks, you need to become a member. This is not a member of the Facebook group, y'all. This is a member of the nonprofit. When you see the INC incorporated, it means something. It means that we are a national 501c3 organization. And so I'm going to share that flyer. I'm going to share the link to apply. Martez, make sure you apply. We're gonna announce that winner next week on the show. And so all you're gonna have to do is apply through the link that I share. They said the process is simple. You'll only need a 2.75 GPA to get into the university. And then this micro credential can be furthered into a master's degree. So these 9 hours could carry into a master's degree. They are one of the lesser costing when it comes to higher education. And they are going to be doing some other discounts for our members, like where you're going to get some money off of tuition. So more to come on the partnership, but we're starting the partnership off with the micro credential. So I'm going to share that with you all. Hold on, let me share my screen. Wait, before Mr. Michael McGrone, you're going to share yourself in just 1 second. Give me 2 minutes. I'm going to share the screen for a minute. Give me 1 moment.
Is my phone giving that disruption like that, the interference?
No, we hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Oh, the way I'm hearing it, it sounds pretty bad on my end.
Go out and come back in because we hear you fine. So guys, here we are. This is the Black Educators Rock micro credential giveaway. As I stated, the American College of Education is going to award a digital learning and teaching micro credential. You're going to start your entries now. They're going to be going on now. It's going to end next week, Wednesday, and we're going to announce the winner on next week. And then we're going to get you in touch with the institution. And the fees that you were responsible for, again, is that application fee and processing of $100. They'll make sure that you're completely enrolled by February 19th, and you will start the course on February 22nd. And it is, again, a micro-credential. It is 3 classes, 9 hours of digital learning and teaching, micro-credential. So it is, again, with the American College of Education, and I will be sharing that in the chat as well as the ticker. Those of you who are members, you will be receiving this in the newsletter tomorrow, and we'll be also posting it in all of our groups. So we're excited about, again, this partnership and collaboration with American College of Education. Martez, guess what? I'm thinking about going there and getting me a second doctorate. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's where I am right now. Thinking about getting a second doctorate.
Go for it, Doc.
Connection.
Yeah, you know, I'm an overachiever. So I'm talking to them about getting this second doctorate. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to be able to be your spokesperson for your university. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited. So maybe you can join me and come on and get one too.
Let us pray.
So, Mr. McGrone, before we start having our conversation, can you let the good people know who you are? Does he still have technical difficulties? Michael, is he frozen?
I think so.
I think so. Well, he'll come. Let me see. I think it's working now. Can you hear us, Michael?
I think it's always have this I always have this issue when I use my phone. I think I mess up everybody. There's something with my phone, the connection that I have, that I can now I can hear you fine. Now, but when you guys start talking, it just sounds a lot. I hear a lot of static. So I think it's my phone that if you guys when you guys start talking, it just sounds very staticky.
Do you have an iPhone?
Now you sound clear. It's the weirdest thing. You sound clear now. Yeah, I have an iPhone.
Okay, I think it has something to do with iPhone. I think when I read it, something with them. But go ahead and tell the good people who you are and what you do.
Oh, yeah. Of course, my name is Michael McGrone, and I've been in education for the past 25 years. I'm currently the principal at IYC Chicago All Boys Prison, and best-selling author of a book entitled "The Twists and Turns of Possibility: My Life is My True Story." And I'm thankful to be on the panel with this illustrious. You always get put me on this panel. I don't think I deserve it. Oh no,
you fit in perfectly. Did you guys hear what he said? He's the principal at a all-male prison, boys prison, and he's doing some phenomenal work over there. Before being over there, talk about where you were before there, Mr. McGrone. You've done some things. Tell them a little bit more about who you are.
Okay. Well, I was the first African American principal at Bishop Noll Institute in Hammond, Indiana. From there, I went to was the principal at Longfellow Elementary in Harvey, and I became nationally known for the work that I did when I was a principal at Ritz South High School in Richland Park, Illinois, primarily dealing with social emotional learning and how we were able to use that model to impact, in particular, boys of color to double college readiness in 3 years.
So tell me, y'all see these powerhouses I have on this panel? These are some intelligent, articulate Black men who are guys, not just intelligent and articulate. They are doing the work in these streets. Like, these are men who are not accepting any excuses, right? There are no limitations for these Black men. And I'm just honored and privileged to call each one of them my brothers. I love each one of them dearly. I'm super excited that they're a part again. When I tell y'all Black Educators Rock, we come loaded. When they talk about where's the Black male, we have the most phenomenal Black male educators that are a part of our company, our organization, and we are truly, truly honored to have them. And we're going to make sure that we always uplift them. And so you will be seeing them again at the end of the month, because we're doing our Black History celebration. And of course, I got to talk to my Black male educators. They have to be a part of that. So you will be hearing from them again. We'll be talking about the plight of the Black male educator, as well as Black education in general. So be on the lookout for that. That's the last Wednesday of this month. There's your invitations, guys. So you already know, put it on your calendar, 9 p.m. Okay. So we're going to get started with this conversation tonight, and we're going to have some conversation just like we did with the women last week, but we're talking to our men because we want to hear directly from them. Too often, Black women, we are coming up with our own suppositions and preconceived notions about who the Black man is and what the Black man wants and what he expects. And so it's always just good to hear from him. And so I was always taught that the first thing you do when you're talking to a Black man is you check in on him. You know, I think Dr. Jackson said that to us on one show. Damn, can you just ask me how I'm doing first before you do anything else? Can you check on me? And so the first thing that I want to do, Black men, is check on you all and see how you guys have been doing in this current climate that we're in culturally. You know, we know that racially it's very divisive right now. We're just now coming over that hump. So talk to me, you know, all these different riots and killings and etc. So talk to me a little bit about just how you're doing and how have you been coping? What's been your coping mechanism? What's been your coping strategy as to what's been going on? And so I will start with you, Dr. Abraham, and then I'll go to you, Martez.
Thanks, Doc. You know what? It's challenging, especially when things first happen with, you know, because as a Black man, we deal with race our whole lives. I was just talking to some of my students. I got a teaching a diversity class with all white kids, and I said, you know, as a doctor, as an educated Black man, 2 master's degree, a bachelor's degree, I still know that when a cop pulls me over, I got to put my hands out the window to let them know that I'm safe, so that I don't end up in a body bag. So we always know that as Black men that we have to, you know, take this role in this position with dealing with police, so that we can make it home to our babies at night or to our loved ones at night. But you know, when we actually got to witness that George Floyd piece and see him, you know, get killed or suffocated for over 7 minutes, you know, I was a principal at the time, and it was difficult for me to just have the words to articulate to my young people, to say, hey, don't go out there and riot and do what everybody else is doing. I know it's hard, I know it's hurtful, but you know, and then we're supposed to keep a straight face while we do it all. So you know, it's challenging, but we know it's any Black man in America, you know, that this is the plight we have, just being a Black man and being some of the most misunderstood and fearful individuals in the country, or feared individuals in the country. It's nothing like an intelligent, articulate Black man that carry themselves with confidence that makes people nervous. Especially me, I'm 6'4", 300 something pounds. So I know I make people nervous. So, you know, I'm prayerful, and I'm thankful to God, and I'm just, you know, keeping my mind, you know, focused on the work, and really just excited to see more people talking about race and feeling a little bit more comfortable, you know, calling out racism and discrimination and implicit bias when they see it. And that's the work I do. So thank you, Doc, for checking in with me, brothers. I won't take up too much of your time.
So how do you cope? So I heard you saying that, but how are you coping? What are the things that you do that keep you from feeling that weight and that pressure?
I'm an avid weightlifter. So I go to the gym every single day. I'm in the gym an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. I do a lot of praying. I'm a praying man. And so that's how I cope. I work out, and I do a lot of praying and fasting and seeking God. So that's, you know, and then staying focused on the work, right? Like that helps me not have to, you know, I won't say not deal with it, but it just helps me cope with everything that's going on. And besides the personal thing, like vacation and things like that, but just on a day-to-day, it's working out, it's praying, it's focus on the goals, and keeping my mind set on my priorities and not getting distracted by the distractions.
Thank you so much. Martez?
Well, living in South Georgia, in a predominantly Black community, it's a different experience from what I see on and hear about going on in other metropolitan areas and major cities. I'm fortunate to work in a district where my superintendent is Black. All of our associate superintendents are Black. Our district attorney is Black. Our chief of police is Black. It's a lot of our city commissioners are Black. So it's just being in this almost utopian society. Of course, it's not perfect, but when issues arise, we band together and we handle them. And a lot of the racial tension and a lot of the racial issues, we don't necessarily see the outward expression of them. A lot of it is suppressed. A lot of it is like hush hush situations. If there is an issue, it won't be necessarily vocalized in public. It's some closed door meetings and some, hidden things that go on. However, it's not a major public display of racism where I am. However, what's important for us is to continue to teach our children that racism does exist and that outside of this community, even though we don't necessarily see the physical expression of it, the systemic racism still exists. There are still rooms that people who look like me can't enter. There are still opportunities that if you're not in the know and if you're not at the table, you won't know about, you won't be informed of. So that I encourage those who are educated in our area, those who are in positions of influence, to reach back and to encourage and uplift those who are not seated at those tables, because that's where the issue lies here. It's because we have so many African-American people, it's almost the haves and the have-nots situation amongst Black people and not necessarily from other races. So that's a different problem altogether, a different issue altogether. So that's the majority of what we face is Black against Black almost. Not necessarily against, but I have the information, I have the influence, I have the access, and I'm going to hold on to it. And I'm not going to share it with you. I'm not going to reach back. I'm not going to enlighten you. I'm not going to invite you to the table. So, for instance, I sit on, and I was just named to a board of directors for an organization called Leadership Albany, and this is where it's a training institute per se, where leaders and influencers throughout the city, there's a class of about 30 members that are named every year. I was in the class of 2019, and in that class, there were 2 Black men in that class, in a predominantly Black city. You had 2 Black men represented. You had one, I think he's either late 50s or early 60s. And then you have me in my 30s, and that was the representation of the Black male population of our entire city. So being named to that board of directors was a huge thing for me, and I'm very excited about that. The board is very open to becoming more diverse and becoming more inclusive, and I'm excited to see what happens after that. As far as coping with these types of situations, like Dr. Abraham was saying, prayer is definitely big. And I like to separate myself. I don't watch a lot of news. I don't watch a lot of shows and things like that. I try not to inundate myself with what's going on. If I find out it's somebody told me, or I just happen to read something, because I think it's very important for us not to be overly consumed with the wrongs of the world, because it begins to wear and tear on us. So being able to separate myself, being able to isolate, and I was talking about this the other week, emotionally quarantining is extremely important as well. Being able to just walk away and step away, that kind of helps me to stay focused and stay grounded.
Thank you so much, Martez. Mr. McGrone.
Yeah. Well, for me, I cope. I work. I tell people I work in the belly of the beast because I work with children that are the byproduct of the dysfunction of America, all of our mistakes. And so it's pretty tough to come back and forth to work. I got young men. I just met mentoring a young man doing 60 years. He's only 19 years old. I have another young man doing 35 years. He's only 18 years old. So for myself, it's critically important that I have these coping mechanisms, like brother, I think it was that Dr. Mark. I don't lift weights anymore. I'm not playing football, so I don't lift the heavy weights. So I'm just kind of walking on the treadmill and working on my core and eating right. So I don't do the weightlifting anymore. But just to be able to walk and put myself around people that are healthy in their thoughts. I do a lot of journaling. I have to write about it because I found myself when you work in a prison um, and you working with young people lives. When you working with a young man, he's not going to be out of prison until he's 72. That can play on you. And the earliest he can be released is 72. And so I found myself taking a lot of this stuff home. And so for myself, journaling, um, working out, put myself around healthy people. Sometimes not talking about it because talking about it can become um, can have an impact because I meet with young men every morning at 8 o'clock. And all of these young men I have about 8 young men, and between all of them, they do it over 100 years. And these are, and you working, I'm in a facility where 95% of them African American. We have one white gentleman and we have 3 Hispanics, but the rest are African American. And so it's for me going in a facility, and then when I'm facilitating these social emotional groups, it's one of me. I'm taking on these spirits, and I'm taking all of this energy that all the abandoned fathers and the mothers and all the people that have done that were detrimental to these young men. I get it all. I get all of that. So I have to refill my cup. When I leave work empty because one of the things that, and we all do this. I'm not putting myself out. I think we will all do it in a position where these boys need us. You're going to leave all of us. You will leave that job empty. And so I let them know that they made a mistake.
We'll get him back, guys. Wow. So I guess you guys were hearing, like, I mean, boys prison and saying somebody getting out at 72 and they're a child. Like that's some, he said some deep things there though. When he said about taking on those spirits and energy, taking on that energy, that's so real. And I don't think people understand like how significant that is. So Mr. McGrone, we're going to give you an opportunity to finish. We don't know what happened, but can you hear us?
Yeah. So I lost contact for a second, but just in short, just in conclusion, when you're working with young people as young as 14 years old, they're serving juvenile life, and you're taking on that energy. And every day you're hearing young people talk about these. It's not a traditional setting by no means. I work with individuals that have actually killed other people, and so it's not your traditional setting. So you have to make sure that you have balance and people in your life that can help you not think about it a lot. But at the same time, because when I'm at work, when I go home, But I can tell you right now that I believe in, and you cannot work my job if you feel that there's no hope for those gentlemen. And so I always say that I let them know that life is the fight for territory. Once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take its course. So we constantly talking about, because most of them are going to get out one day. They're going to get out, and my whole goal with them is how do you psychological and mental reprogramming to get them to think differently about the choices that they made, and a lot of that helps me just through my own life with my own children. So spending time with my children helps me cope, knowing that my first charity first starts in the home. So working out, having my favorite scriptures that my beloved mother gives me, and putting myself around healthy people helps me throughout the course, because I need this every day. I need it every day. Other than that, I would be a basket case. So thank you for allowing me to, it's like a therapeutic session.
Thank you so much for sharing. And like you said, I'm happy that you do have people and things that can help you to kind of get some of that energy and that spirit off of you. But that is a heavy load to bear. But you know, I don't think there's a stronger man for it. I mean, you were created for this. I mean, I watch you on Facebook. I listen to the things you say. So thank you for what you're doing with those babies, because you know those. You know, we talk about it's easier to what is it, build than to repair broken men to build. But you're dealing with broken children who are going to be, you know, and you're trying to keep them from being broken men. So keep
Yes.
doing that work. And so thank you, Dr. Jackson. Oh, wait, Dr. Jack, go ahead now. Start over.
Okay. Every day I wake up excited about the job. My duty and responsibility is to keep these young men and women and girls, rather, from actually in the environments that Mike is actually speaking of. To actually, what I do to relax. Matter of fact, as much as this work consumes me, it comforts me as well. Every day, I'm not your traditional district office worker. I'm over 14 schools, and every week I'm in each one of those 14 schools. I'm interacting with children. I know the teachers. I know their parents, the parents of the teachers. I know the students. I know the principals. I know the principals' husband and wives. I'm very interactive in the school, and that work comforts me. And every day, I try to have some type of interaction with a child, and that's when God will speak to you and let you know you're doing His work, and this is a divine assignment. So that's actually what relaxes me, as crazy as it may seem. But the work, although it consumes me, it caresses me and comforts me.
Wow, that is deep. And that is again the strength of a Black man. I mean, you know, I believe so much is put on you all because, I mean, who better to be able to deal with it than nobody else could deal with it the way that you can. And so, you know, I know you don't hear it nearly enough, but please know that we thoroughly appreciate you all. We honor you, we uplift you, and we love you all. And thank you all for the work that you're doing for our children, for our families, for our communities, for our country, for our world, because you all are making not only just local impact, but you're making regional and national and international impact as well. And I'm going to always do what I can to put you guys on the pedestal that you deserve to be on. When I first started this show, it actually started off it was just a podcast. It was just talking. And for the first, like, I think 2.5, 3 months, if you remember, Dr. Jackson, you were one of my guests. All I had on was Black men. It was just Black men by themselves. And they were like, why you? I'm like, because I'm so tired of this narrative about my Black man, about what he isn't doing and what he's not accomplishing, that I just brought you all Black men for I don't know how many months straight, just them, just one man at a time on the show, telling their story, telling their walk, telling what they were doing. And so if you don't know it, please know that I am a fan of yours, and I will forever be a fan of the Black man, and I will always do what I can to assist and uplift you. And so thank you guys for the work that you're putting in, and thank you for taking care of yourself. That's so important, that you have outlets and you have things that you can do to get off some of that heaviness and those spirits and that energy, because we need you here for 100 more years. We need you all to live to be 120. We need you to be here helping to do this work so that we can all actualize what we all really, really wish to see with our country and with our world. And so we're going to be the ones to make it happen, and we can't do it without you all. So thank you again. So moving on. So again, so that was our Black men checking in with us, guys, and let us know how they're doing and how they're coping. I'm going to move on with our next part of the conversation. We're going to talk a little bit about just when you're seeing us as a community, as a Black community. I know Martez kind of touched on it some when he was talking about how he's coping, but what are some of the positives and negatives that you're seeing with our communities, with us as Black people? Let's start with the negative and then go into the positive. Let's end on the positive note. That what are some things that you feel that we're not doing well enough, that we need to be improving on, that we're not focusing on as a community, as a culture, as a group of people? What do you guys think? So I'm gonna start with you, Dr. Jackson. I'm gonna go in the opposite way and start with you. You were last, so you're going first this time.
Okay, could you repeat that again for me? You faded out on this end with the last part of the question.
I was asking about us as a black community, as us as Black people. What are some things that we need to start improving on, focusing on? We're trying to figure out what do we need to do better as a people so that we can start moving in that direction. So just getting some insight from what you guys, as the kings that you are, what are you seeing with us as a people?
Well, actually, me personally, some of the things that I'm actually seeing is the disconnect, the lack of unity that's actually in our community. We're always competing with one another, as opposed to uniting with one another. When I came down here to actually do this work in my hometown to turn these schools around, the first people who came after me was the NAACP. As crazy as they was, somebody told them some things about me. They actually looked at my resume and saw that I was only at a school for about 3 to 4 years before I moved to another school. But little did they know that the district kept moving me to turn schools around. They moved me from the elementary school to the middle school to turn the middle school around. Then they moved me from the middle school to turn the high school around. But the NAACP were the first ones to come after me. And that actually blew me away, but I wasn't surprised. So that is something that is so negative, and we need to take care of quick. What's positive? The most positive thing to me is the possibility. That is the most positive thing to me. And if we're able to unite, we can become a mighty force. And it's imperative that we actually do that because our kids are watching us. Our kids are watching every single thing we do, and the lack of unity is something that they're paying very, very close attention to.
And you said some deep things there. That's something that I always tell people about with our organization, Dr. Mark. That's what I always say. We all do great works in these silos. We, as a people, for some reason, have forgotten that there's strength in numbers. That you guys know that one of my favorite quotes is, we must collectively collaborate, because we have so far to go, because we're so far behind. We can't do it by ourselves. And until we understand that as a people and unite and collectively collaborate and stop thinking that, he's going to get more than me and she's going to get more than me, and understand that there is enough for all of us to eat, we are not going to, again, see what you said, the possibility. The possibility is when it comes to us. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen Oklahoma. We've seen the things that we can do when we collectively collaborate, when we understand that there's strength in numbers. So agree with you, Dr. Jackson. Thank you for your input. Gonna go with you next, Martez.
So yes, I totally agree with Dr. Jackson. That's something, a little bit of what I kind of mentioned earlier, with that not really uniting and we're working together. But in addition to that, another thing that I'm seeing is oftentimes as a culture and as a society, our priorities can be displaced. We put a lot of emphasis on how we look. We put a lot of emphasis on what we drive, what we have, all of those types of things that are not necessarily as beneficial as learning how to invest, learning how to own things that appreciate, learning how to really have a voice in your area and in your society and in your community. And I think it's almost a trick that our kids are inundated on social media with flashy things and and games and shoes and clothes and those are their aspirations, and they don't get to see the possibilities of who they can become, what they can acquire, because we have a struggle right now with low reading performance in the district where I am right now. We're fighting that because reading that's not the cool thing to do. I don't want to do that. Like that's not important. It's not in the forefront of some parents' minds. It's not in the forefront of other adults, and of course the kids follow in the footsteps of the adults. So I think it's really important for us to be able to get back to understanding that what's inside of us is a lot more valuable and important than what's on the outside of us.
And then you're positive.
I didn't hear you.
And then what's your positive? Because that was yours. So what's the positive?
And the positive thing is we are really celebrating the beautifulness of being Black. That is one thing that I can honestly say has not been the case probably in my lifetime. It has always been, we've had to make an explanation or be able to explain Blackness, being able to explain why I'm important, be able to explain why I'm valuable. And now to see other cultures celebrate us, and as well as us celebrating ourselves, is a beautiful thing. And just to see our Vice President of the United States of America, Vice President Harris in office, and to see the very first Black senator of the United States of America representing the state of Georgia, like that. I mean, for it to take this many years for that to happen, and to see it come full circle, and to see people actually celebrating it. Of course, everybody's not going to always celebrate us, but just to see that and to experience that, to know that Black is beautiful, and not have to explain it. That's just a beautiful thing.
Okay, so you said something that's so amazing, like how things are still, like you said, so relevant. When you talk about those misplaced priorities, Martez, you know, I taught at FAMU for many, many years, and I taught at Florida State, and I used to always tell them about that comparison contrast, and just what you stated about the, you know, we're so caught up in name brands and labels, and I used to tell them that you'll put Nike on your body, but you won't put Nike in your body. So we're some of the most unhealthy people, but we're the, you know, we're the best dressed, whether, you know, you won't have $100 in the bank, but you're carrying a $1,000 purse.
Right.
So, you know, I definitely concur with you when it comes to those things. I used to always talk to my babies about that at FAMU, just that we have to learn how to reprioritize. And like you said, unfortunately, most times it's the adults that's giving the children those ideologies and those perspectives. And so that is something that I too hope that I used to tell them that the people who have the money, they're the ones that drive the beat up car that they've had for years. Yes. And yes. You got a landlord and you pulling up in a Land Rover. they in the Honda Civic and they own 20 properties. And so it's that misguided priority. So I definitely agree with you. And then when you talk about that positivity, that positiveness, it's to me, it's both a negative and a positive, because we see that everybody wants to appropriate from our culture. Everybody wants to pull from us and be like us, and full lips and thickness and color and, you know, the tanness and etc. You know, even when it comes to our hairstyles, and we unfortunately don't even appreciate it as much as other people do. We don't even understand, like, there's this love-hate relationship that we have with our Blackness. And right. So it is, though, truly exciting, though, to see that so many other people do recognize it. We just, for whatever reason, got to realize why they are trying to do everything, our music and everything like us. And it's because we are the epitome of greatness. And so thank you for sharing. Gonna go to you, Mr. McGrone, and then Dr. Abraham, you're gonna go after Mr. McGrone.
Okay, I think one of the negatives is the lack of male presence in particular, in education. I have to speak, within that. I think, because we are a threat to the status quo, and there's a phenomenon going on all over the country. I've never been to a place, and I know black men, we have these little, we think we work on these silos, but in reality, we're having these challenges that either we emasculated or we have to conform to a system doesn't fit who we are as men. And I think that's a pandemic. A lot of the kids, there are a lot of young people who won't even experience the presence of a black educator throughout their educational career. And I always say a child not even educated by a black man is a child that's been not properly educated, because we bring a certain perspective that helps balance that child matriculating into the world. And so it's been a huge issue in that black men are meant to conform into a system that we know is ineffective. And I say this to my staff, and it's not a racist term. I say a white person can teach a child math, can teach a child science, can teach a child English, but they cannot teach a black child how to be black. You have to have an experience. You have to have things that have happened where you can actually help that child matriculate to the world. And for that matter, for a white child as well, to understand what it's like to be black. And so I think until we as society do better recruiting, sustaining, and protecting black men, in particular in education, I think we're still going to have high dropout rates. Black boys are the first suspended, the first put out of school, the first written up, because they are written up because of who they are, as opposed to them being as normal adolescent behavior. A lot of times black boys in our communities, and just like we did and I did, we show love through aggression. I'm sure a lot of young men or brothers on this panel in our communities, we used to slap box with each other. Didn't mean that we didn't hate each other, but we want to know who had those hands. But so a lot of our kids may get suspended or written up for simply showing love, but we show love through aggression. And that's something that we can bring. We bring a certain perspective to an institution that help people understand what it's like, and that it's nothing wrong. Black boys are energetic. They like to move around. So we have to put them in positions that they are not failing for being who they are. Now, the positive thing, I think that we're moving forward in a sense is people like yourself. We have these people that's working underground. We know, and true education is really teaching children against the very system that's meant to educate them. We know if you teach children the way education is designed now, we are guiding them from the schoolhouse to the jailhouse. So we have people that are underground who close their door, who teach from a curriculum that's meant to help our children not take tests, but to think. Because to educate our children in the system, the way the system is designed, the system is going to miseducate them. And so we have to bring a subset of material to teach them the true story as opposed to his story. And I think that we have a lot of conscious black people with the platform that you created, Dr. Melissa, that's really preparing, and you got these people working underground that's really teaching our children the truth. And I really do believe that you have a lot of educators out there. It's not everything that's it don't have to be told. We don't have to tell everything. But I do believe that we have teachers that are teaching children how to think, how to research the researcher. I know I teach children that when they read a book, don't just read that book. Before you open that book, you research that.
He'll come back on. He pops right back in. So I'll comment on what he said about the negative thing. Like he said, it is strategic and intentional not to have black male educators in education. We know that's been the play for many a decades. But we know that, like he said, that we are going to keep combating that, and that, we just have to keep just working on those numbers. And like you said, there are so many underground soldiers who are, we understand that the curriculum is not written for us, about us, and we understand what we must do with that curriculum. So, Mr. McGrone, you can continue.
Okay, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So I just want to just end in short that I think that even the boys who I am, there's an evolution. There's a process. They're starting to think more about it, because I let them know I'm part of the matrix. But I want them to understand what's more important to me than education is their ability to ask questions and their ability to think themselves out of things, because we don't teach that. We don't teach our children how to think. In affluent community, they teach their children how to think. In poor community, they teach their children how to test. And so I just do believe that we have a lot of revolutionary educators out there that they walk like others, but they truly think different. And so that's my perspective on it.
Thank you, Mr. McGrone. And Dr. Abraham.
Listen, you kings and said so much, man. All I can say is amen. I think one thing that I see as a negative is we have to look inward for the answers, and we got to stop depending on people that hate us to give us something.
Ooh.
I think that the biggest problem is, we keep looking for handouts and we keep looking for folks to help us when we got and God has put the answers on the inside of us. And we got to stop believing in what Carter G. Woodson talked about in 1933 with the miseducation of the Negro, where everything out there is negative about us and they don't want to say anything positive about us. That's why I'm elated that we have a panel with Black men that are kings, that are doctors, that are educated, that are fathers, that are brothers, and we're showing a narrative that we do exist, and stop with this nonsense as if we don't exist, because it's ridiculous and it's absurd. So, I can go on forever. Some of the positive, I say, Black people, we got to love each other and stop being afraid to. It's okay. We use our voice in the back of the booth or the corner, but when you're in that job, when your job is on the line, you got to be willing to use that same voice. You can't turn the blind eye just because somebody is dangling a carrot in front of you and you're afraid because you don't want to advocate for children because you don't want to lose your job. Them babies gonna suffer if you don't do that. You were put there for a reason. So we got to use our voice and speak up when it counts, not in the back of the booth or the corner, whispering all the time. You got power on the inside of you, and unless we love ourselves, we can't demand anybody else to love us. So, I stop, but I Kings, I'm just happy just to be in your presence right now, and brother, who you're doing that work in that prison system, man. My heart goes out to you and them kids, and I love the stuff that you're talking about. All you gentlemen are amazing to me. So I'm just sitting here patiently, ready to jump in the water whenever y'all want me to jump in, man. But I'm just excited to be on this panel with you guys.
I mean, you said some things that I used to also say at college when I used to teach at FAMU, Dr. Abraham. You said some things like you said. I used to always tell them, like, y'all out here mad because y'all expect people to do more for you than you do for yourself. Like right. You said, you want people that hate you to help you.
Right.
You want people who have shown us how they feel about us to do more for us than we do for ourselves. You don't understand why they're not pointing resources to us, because they point them into their own communities.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, that's a slave and slave master mentality thing, that a slave master is going to feed you. And so it's so, in like minds, like minds are always going to be kindred spirits. And so you definitely said some things there. And like you said, when we start understanding the power that is inside of us, I posted something today, and I'll be doing a post after this. And it talked about, don't depend on others, understand that you have the matches inside of you, like light your own fire. Mm-hmm. Like, we're always waiting on other people to motivate us, to encourage us, to strengthen us. And this black magic is something that is not to be played with. And when all of us realize that and awaken that within us, oh my God, the magic, the things that we are going to see. And so, like you said, I'm super humbled again, and just excited and thrilled about what Black Educators Rock and what we are doing as a collective, because we are with like-minded people that get it. And I forgot which one of you said it, but sometimes it's not televised, because the revolution will not be televised. Sometimes the work is being done by those underground soldiers, and nobody knows that the work is being done. But trust and believe, there are people who are out here doing the work.
Can I say something, Doc, real quick?
Of course.
Let me say this to any Black person that's watching this. We have to celebrate Black entrepreneurship and stop looking at our Black small businesses with a skeptical eye. And if you're in a position to help a Black entrepreneur with the resources of a company, you better go on and help these Black people come get ahead and stop looking like you. It ain't your money. Cut the check, right? Let Dr. Nolan come in there with the Black Educators Rock to come turn that thing around and stop playing games. It's not your check. Let these folks come in there and help somebody else and help these Black businesses and stop putting all this criticizing and we looking at each other skeptical and this crab in the barrel nonsense. Love your brother and your sister and say, hey, come in and let me show you how to make some money so that you can do something for your family. And then understand Black economics and buy some real estate and get some real estate for yourself so that you're not depending on a system, because once you've done or have a heart attack or have a stroke or they fire you, your job is up before anything is. Do something for your family, like buy some real estate, buy some businesses that can support you and sustain you so that when you walk out of that job, you have something to hand down to your children. Middle class kids, and especially our kids, have it worse because we have to hit the reset button every time they leave they got to go and do politics and do all the nonsense we have to do to get the position, fight and scratch. And we're not talking about creating businesses to get people through. We will applaud people. If I posted that I got a new job, I get 1,000 likes. If I post I started my own company, I get 10 likes. We just brainwashed with not understanding the power of entrepreneurs and looking at each other from a skeptical position.
Yeah.
So Black people.
You said a word. You said a word, Dr. Abraham. Black Educators Rock, we've been around for 5 years. We started with a Facebook group in 2015. We became a national nonprofit in 2016. We still have people. We have the best conference in the country because we have the best educators in the country that present. And we still have people looking at us crazy and not wanting to support us. And like you said, not wanting to financially support us when we are the least expensive conference in the country. Not only do we bring the power of our speakers and the amount of money you pay, but it's all about that. And I always say that unconsciously, there's a self-hatred that we as Black people have. Mm-hmm. And I always say this. I said this when I was on with a panel with the Black women. I can't expect somebody to give me Black love and love me when they don't love themselves.
Right.
I can see greatness in other people because I see greatness in me.
Right.
Because I'm great. I have no problem bringing on all the Black kings or all the Black queens and saying, oh, let me tell you what she's doing. Let me tell you what he's doing. Because I know that does not minimize my shine. Somebody else's shine does not minimize yours. And so we as a people got to get past that Willie Lynch syndrome. We got to get past it. It's like you said, it's been intentional and strategic, but we must work past it. We have to, right? We have to. And so thank you for those words and for that word of advice. And I'm going to move on and I'm going to go into this area that, most of my ladies, my ladies are waiting on for us to talk about a little bit. I'm going to talk in general first, Black love. Got to talk about Black love. We're talking about these kings and we're talking about our communities. We got to talk about Black love. So here we have 4 eligible, attractive, articulate, strong, sexy, accomplished, sensitive Black men that are not married. And when I look at my friendship pools and I'm looking at, my people, I know a lot of Black men who are not married. Either they've been married and they're divorced and they've been divorced for a long time, or they've never been married, right? Black men, help us to know what does it take to win Black men's hearts. Help us just in generally. What are we doing wrong? Where are the disconnects at? What can we do to help Black men, to help us to get your heart? So what can we do as Black women? We got to talk a little bit about that. They have to understand that I think this is nothing more beautiful than Black love. I'm not going to even, I can't even lie. I can't. So tell us, help us out.
I'll jump in first since I have to run to my second engagement.
Okay.
But, first of all, once again, I want to say thank you. This has been an amazing conversation already. I mean, it's still early. But this question, Doc, you get us with this question every time, every single time you get us with this question.
They said, hey, we need to know. So I need for y'all to tell them.
So and I think it was Dr. Jackson who said it before, that that support and and we talked about this on a previous show. It's important that we have conversations with each other and not talk at each other. That's a major turnoff. That nagging, that we don't want to hear all that. We want you to listen to understand and not listen to respond. How oftentimes our beautiful queens are ready because they're so intelligent, so brilliant, so articulate that they're ready to give a rebuttal and to be able to do their cross-examination and all of that. So sometimes we just want you to listen and say, hey, that's good. Okay, I feel you. That's awesome. How can I help? How can I support? How can I make this load easier for you? It's just simple things like that could change. Change a man's whole perspective. Change his whole, just blow his mind. Just like, what? You want to hear what I got to say? You listening to me? Something so small like that is huge. It's paramount.
Ladies, did you hear him? I hope you heard. I'm not giving rebuttal. There's no response, but I hear you, King, and hopefully the rest of them do too. And I concur. We need to learn how to be quiet sometimes and just listen, and then just support. Just support. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for being open with us.
Absolutely.
Dr.
Abraham?
My phone is going to die.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. McGrone.
Yeah, it's going to die. I just want to be able to say this, that for the women to know, Black men, we're pretty easy to figure out. The affirmation for the work that we do, believe it or not, I know we're strong, we're tall, and we appear to be this, all of this, but to hear a sister say, just to compliment us on this, it can be any, but this has have to do with somebody we care about. Baby, you did it. I'm gonna tell you something. You're an expert at that. You affirmed us, and you talked about the Black man. I wanted to hear more of that. I just wanted you could have had the whole session. I would have just let you go. Keep on. Y'all this, y'all kings, y'all this. And I'm like, okay, what kind of car you want? What do you want? Because that affirmation is something that we live for. And I'm gonna go ahead and be honest. Most of us, we're ego. We like that. We like that. Tell me how sexy I am. Tell me, Michael, I like the way you care about them kids. And you can basically empty my bank account. You can get everyone. Just affirm me. And sometimes when we talk, it's not necessarily a response that we're looking for. We just want you to hear. And the worst thing that men that we kind of run from is when a woman say, I need to talk to you about something. I need to, it's a question that you ready to put hot sauce in your eye, where you just want to be able to just kind of poke a fork in your eye. And it's just because Black men, I'll admit, we can be sensitive, but we have a good heart. We truly do. We truly do. And I think the true medicine and to help Black men is a Black woman, because she knows what he needs, because women study men, Black women study men, and they know. And so I think me being at this ripe age of 50, I tell Black women this, for me and for people that are and men that I'm around, we don't really understand. And I'm not saying this against my 30-year-old brother, my young brother, because he may be an outlier. But when you get into your 40s, I tell women this: you want a man with some scars on him. Because if you don't have a man with no scars on him, that means he doesn't have a measuring rod of what true struggle is. And so when you get to our age with these brothers on this panel, these are seasoned brothers that have experienced our bodies change. We experience certain life happens. And so to meet us now, you meet the best version of a man when he particularly get into his 40s, because his body changes, life happens, and he have these experiences that women is, and I tell women this, I don't care how your hair, you going to the gym looking the best you can. That's not gonna keep a man. That's not gonna keep a man. It happens to do if that man is at a
Never got mad because he was
Every
telling
time.
the truth.
Every time.
Well, to be honest with you, you actually can stop. You actually can stop it right there because the last two brothers actually pretty much summed it up, and that's what every brother needs. He's coming back on. Number one, listen, and when you listen with your emotions off and your mouth off.
Oh, your emotions have to be off. I thought
Your
emotions can be off, but your mouth got to be off.
Yeah, your mouth and your emotions need to be off. I'll let Brother Mike continue.
Go ahead, Brother McGrone, because Dr. Jackson gonna come in right
I'll say
behind
this
you.
in conclusion. I know Dr. Jackson, he's coming hard. But and let me say that, man, Jackson, I follow you, man. You do a lot of great work. But I'll say this in closing that we really do need. I mean, it's nothing more important than the affirmation for from a black woman to a black man to be able to affirm his existence and to be able to talk about those, because we don't get that. We go into the world, and if you can see the world through our lens, women can really understand what it's like to be us. So just to be affirmed and just to understand and be able to hear us and be able to provide that comfort is water to our soul. Water to our soul.
Well, I'm going to challenge every woman that is listening tonight. It's Black History Month, and these are Black beautiful kings on here. So for the rest of the month, at least, don't nag him. Don't say anything but positive things to him. Affirm him. When he wakes up in the morning, you see him, affirm him. If you out on the sidewalks and you're affirm them. We are taking a vow, ladies, in February to the rest of this month, just affirm our Black men. Speak those words that they so need to hear. They have the world on their shoulders, and there is nothing more powerful than a Black woman uplifting a Black man. And so you heard it from them. So
and Michael's actually on point.
Well received. She said heard and well received.
Yes, and Mike was on point, and the other brother was on point. And that matter of fact, that's pretty much hecking in, and I can sure Dr. Abraham actually shares the same sentiments. Listen, and as I stated, listen with your emotions off and your mouth off as well. Because if we're telling you how we feel, we want you to truly take in how we feel. It's not your turn yet. We're telling you how we feel. And secondly, there's nothing more important or more beautiful than what a Black woman can tell a Black man, I am proud of you. Mm-hmm. Try that, ladies. Try that with your.
I'm so proud of all of y'all. I'm so proud of y'all.
Try that with your son. Try that with your daddy, and they'll throw them off because we're not used to that. We're not used to any type of affirmation, and this world tells us down. And most of the time, many men come home and get the same thing at home. But you'll be good at work, though. You won't do that. You'll affirm somebody at work. You'll smile for your supervisor and get home and rip your husband or your significant other apart. But let me stop. I'll digress. I'll stop right there. Go ahead, Brother Abraham.
No, we don't do that now. We don't do that.
Well, let me just start off by saying there is nothing, in my estimation, that is more beautiful than the Black woman. I just got to say that real quick. I love Black women. It ain't nothing more beautiful to me than a Black woman. Black women come in so many shades, shapes, and just ain't nothing. I just want to say that. And there's really nothing I can add to, because I think sometimes I hear Black women feel insecure to other women because they'll see a successful Black man with a white woman, and then so they feel like they don't measure up. Baby, ain't nothing wrong with you. You are beautiful. Everything about you is beautiful. Let me just say that. But furthermore, that affirmation piece is huge. Loving on your man is huge. don't criticize to try to get something, right? Like, don't try to put me down to get me to do something. If you want me to do something, affirm me. And like, you know, Brother Michael said, he just has so much wisdom. I was writing it down. So I was like, everything Brother Michael said, this is my resume for what I need in a relationship, right? So you have to praise a man, and that is so huge. And I know some women say, you know, I'm not going to praise him for cutting the grass. That's what he's supposed to do. But if I get to cut the grass after a long day of work, I need a hand clap. I need a round of applause. I need something to make me feel like you like what I'm doing so that I can continue to do it. So that's only my 2 cents to it. So, you know, these kings said it all.
And he'll turn around, and if you tell him that, man, he might go in the house and wash some dishes too.
Exactly.
Put a couple loads of clothes on.
Hey, women, I say that every man want to feel like Superman. That's it.
Man,
we doing everything to feel like a Superman. We, you know, just how we walk. Dang, did you lose weight, boy? Yeah, I did a little something in the gym today. It's simple stuff. You go so much further. And
listen, we got y'all. I promise you, I'm giving you for the month of February, and then maybe it can become a habit, because we're going to definitely make conscious efforts in the month of February to affirm. I'm affirming every Black man that comes into my space and place, you know, be it spouse, brother, friend, cousin, co-workers, subordinates, whoever. I got y'all this month for Black History Month. I got you. Nothing but positivity. I'm not going to complain about anything. I'm not going to tell you what you're not doing. I'll keep my mouth closed before I say something negative. And I hope, women, you are doing the same. Like me and Myra said, heard and well received. It is received. We got y'all. But again, even if we do fuss, just know listen, I tell them all the time, I might talk some noise to you personally, Dr. Jackson, but you know, I ain't never gonna switch out and trade them up for nothing. Y'all listen, I might talk some noise about them, but it's gonna be with you. It's not gonna be in these streets, but I ain't going nowhere. Black men is where it's at. It's where it's nothing better. As he said, Black love is beautiful. So women, I hope you heard them. I hope you heard them. They told you what they require. They told you what they need. They told you what they want. I mean, it's that simple. It's that simple. Now, because it's almost.
I just want to say just a little thing, because I have such a. When a woman does that to a man, and I know can affirm a man that way, we would give her the world. And I think when you get to this age and being seasoned like this, I think what we've learned is women want to be heard. And one of the key things that I've learned is women want to feel secure, whether that's emotionally, financially, just to know that man, just for her to be able to say in her mind, I know he got me. I know he got me. No matter what happens, I know he got me. You know, either it's from herself, because sometimes women may feel secure, insecure, but having a consistent man there to make her feel secure, even from herself. And so it's a give and take. It's a give and take, because I know some women that's on this line, they're saying, well, he got to come and he got to do the same thing. But understand, man, we're pretty easy to figure out. We're easy. Just let us know. Treat us like we're Superman. And affirm us. Just listen. You don't have to say anything, because the more you attack us, the more you combat or you argue with us, the more we're going to resent you. And when men resent you, they get quiet. And that's why I want to say, what's on your mind? We say nothing, because we don't want to hear you say anything. So the more women express themselves outwardly, when men, we get angry, we get quiet. So
and let me say this real quick. At this point, I would say, ladies, also, you have to know your man. Like, I'm a dreamer. I'm always thinking about big goals. You know, if I tell you my dream, don't squash it down. I don't care how big it is. God said that he can do exceedingly abundantly all that I can ask for. Things. Just listen to me, you know, and try to help me find layers to get to that dream. But don't squash it down, even if you can't see it yet, because God ain't showed it to you. And the second thing is, we're not in competition. I love you and I want to support you, but we're not competing with one another. We're in a relationship. We're moving together to get to a common goal. That's my last 2 cents.
No, that's not it. You guys are giving some good information. They taking notes. They writing this stuff down. I'm getting messages like, keep them talking. Like, this is what we need to hear. And again, like I got to go back to Myra. Not only did you hear it, but receive it. Receive it. When you receive something, swallow it into the depths of your soul. And and I'll be the first to admit I can do better when it comes to affirming and not fussing and understanding. Like you said, they just want to feel like they're Superman because they are. Why do we try to take that away from them? We know they are. If they weren't, we wouldn't fight with them and fight so hard to be with them. So we just got to do our part to make it easier. We just got to learn how to just drop some of our ego. I don't know, women. We've amassed these large egos over the more recent decades, and we got to learn how to just to let go of the ego sometimes. And so, we're gonna have a social test, Dr. Jackson, Dr. Abraham, Mr. McGrone. We're gonna do a social test. We're gonna say, okay, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna give it a try, and I'm gonna see if what you said is true. Right? We're not gonna combat what you said. Say, no, that's not what it is. We're going to actually do the experiment. We're going to do the experiment and see if we're correct. If you're correct.
Well, Doc, we are correct. It might be trying you to see if you able to do it, but what we saying is right. I mean, if you do
that's
that,
we're going to do it. We're going to do it so that we get the results that you're talking about.
Try it. It's like saying I'm gonna try the diet. No, the diet trying you to see if you are committed to it. You got to be committed to it all the way to the end, because what's gonna happen is if something don't go your way, he don't do something that you're gonna default to your regular self. We don't want you to default to your normal self, because that don't work. Do what we said we need all the way to the end. Don't say we're gonna try it, because it's
past the collection plate.
Well, we gotta try.
No,
radio. Past the plate, brother.
The way you get it, I'm so confused right now.
Brother,
if I don't even try, how can I do it, Dr. Abraham?
I'm not saying to try is to fail. I'm saying just do it. You said Nike, just do it.
It is.
We don't want you to.
Y'all heard him. Listen, he told y'all.
We don't want you to default to your.
He told y'all, don't try, just do it. Don't even try. Women, Myra said yes. Okay. Ashley said, all right, now we heard it. We're receiving it. We are receiving it. We are receiving it. He said to commit. Okay, we got it. Women, so for the month of February, he said, don't try, just do it. Just commit to it and do it. They need affirmations. They don't need us telling them what they're not doing. They need us to affirm who they are, what they are. We need to support them. Dr. Jackson said, when they talking to us, shut off your emotions and your mouth. Turn both of those off and just receive what they're saying. This their time, not yours. Don't ask them how they feel and then always counter at what they say, how they feel. Well, I feel. Well, damn, but you just said you wanted me to talk and now you're not talking. I'm telling you what they said now, ladies. So writing it down. Hopefully you're getting your notes. Mr. McGrone said, hey, water to their soul. Just affirm us. Every positive thing. Just, hey, any small thing, any large thing. Just don't nag us. Just affirm us. It's water to our soul. Dr. Jackson said, hey, just do it. Dr. Abraham said, just do it. Now don't try. Just do it. Did I miss anything? Did I? Because I want to make sure it's clear. Because I got it. I realized my mistake. I said try. We are going to do it this February for Black History Month.
You talking to men?
Marlene said, got it. Thumbs up.
The men you talking to.
Now,
the men you talking to. You're talking with men with scars. When you have scars, when you have life. And so this is something that, I'm gonna be honest, I experienced divorce. And when you get to our age, I think it's about honesty and being true to yourself. Being true to yourself. I made some mistakes, but as I got older, I started looking at men, you either get worse or you get better. And you talking to men that have gotten better. Because
now, did he mute himself? He was fine until he did what he did. We can't hear you. You went out.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm just saying it's important, so I tell women this. You can go get you that fine tenderoni with that six-pack. You got that little, nice look, but he don't have any scars. So when you go through problems, he don't know how to do it. He don't know what it is because he don't have a measuring rod to really, because he don't know where to go back to. So when you meet a seasoned man that have went through life, you got the best individual out there. He may not have a Chaco 4-pack, but he got a brain, he got a mind, and that man, like these men you have on your panel, they will have you thinking about them when you're not even around. See, a man, we know that it's not about sex. It's about how can you make love to her mind. It's about, you know what's sexy to a woman? Do he got a job? Can he pay them bills? Does he have his own? Does he have good credit? Is he willing to get himself to a point where, you know, they can work together? That's sexy to a seasoned woman. Now, unseasoned.
I was gonna say seasoned woman, seasoned man. Yeah,
she's not on that level. But you're talking to now. We talking about a seasoned woman dealing with a seasoned man. With a seasoned man, and so we're at that age that we don't even attract that. We don't even attract that. So what we're saying, at this age, we give you the world. We know what we want. We want you to just come on and be part of the team. So we talking to guys. Let's buy some property. That's sexy to me. Let's get some property. Yeah. Let's build together. Let's take and I don't have to. And a smart man, if he's not good with money, you can handle the money. I know how to make money. You handle the money, baby. You handle that money. We're gonna do this together.
Yes, like Dr. Abraham said, y'all don't be coming down there and crushing his dreams. You know, build him up. Don't tell him what he cannot do. That dream was given to him. It wasn't given to you. Like, we're receiving it all. What you gonna add to that, Dr. Jackson? I hear it.
No, I'm actually as always the brothers on point. I mean, that's pretty much nothing else to say. I mean, they've wrapped it up, and I just remember my ex actually telling me I'm just a school teacher. I am just a school teacher. I was like, well, the school teacher help you pass your nursing exam. I'm the one set your study guide up for you to pass your nursing exam. So now you're making a little more money, and now you big dog. I mean, brothers are actually preaching. We want somebody on our team that's ride or die all the time. That's pretty much it. Doc, I gotta leave right now.
Okay, we're all about to go. We're not gonna keep y'all late tonight. I know everybody got to go to work tomorrow. You know, you guys have given us some jewels, and so we appreciate that openness. You know, I'm not gonna keep you like we normally do, Dr. J. You know, we can go to midnight sometimes with these talks, but we're gonna end early because tomorrow, next Wednesday, is men and women. Y'all gonna have some women on here talking with y'all, so it's gonna be us and y'all talking together. And so what we're going to do now is let you all say your last words, your parting words. And so we'll start with you, Mr. McGrone, then Dr. Abraham, and then you, Dr. Jackson, and we'll be finished.
I just want to say in short, thank you, Dr. Nolan. You've always been the crusader. You keeping us together as a black family. So you are something else. And to Dr. Jackson, Dr. Abraham, pleasure to meet you, brother, man. I know you my brother from another mother. Just some intelligent souls is all. So I know that I'm not alone. So it's a pleasure to be on this panel with these illustrious brothers. It's a pleasure to meet you guys.
Thank you again, Mr. McGrone, for that phenomenal work that you're doing with our Black boys in that prison system. You know, we got to figure out a way to support you. You got to tell us what you need to help support you, because that work you're doing is phenomenal. I listen, like you said, you follow us, we follow you too. We see the stories, we see the posts, we see the powerful things you're doing when, you know, these guys are opening up for the very first time in their lives. Some of them are receiving the first hug they ever received. You know, I see those posts, and so
I gotta say this. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but I didn't get a chance to tell your followers, but just so you know, we have been inundated with Black Education Rock have sent over $2,000 in toiletries and soap and deodorant. So I gotta tell you, Doc, with this platform, I have gotten stuff because Black Education Rock, soap. Well, I got so much stuff I got to give it to shelters. So thank members of Black Education Rock who sent letters and notes. Thank you. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you. Like I said, thank you for the work that you're doing. So you're so appreciated. Dr. Abraham.
Listen, family, I just want to say, Dr. Nolan, thank you for having me on as your guest. It was fun. I really had a good time. I was kind of skeptical. You said we were talking about relationship and love. I said, I don't know if I'm the one to give relationship advice, but God is good. So thank you. Hey, Kings, man, listen, add me on Facebook and Instagram. I love to connect. I guess I'm Dr. Nolan. I'm putting myself in the Black Educators Rock family. So
you in there? You didn't know it? I told you that the last time I talked to you.
Yeah, right. I'm in it now. So, hey, folks, again, my book will be coming out in summer. What Success Looks Like: Strategies to Increase Graduation Rates for Young Men of Color. And I support principals and school leadership around the country in increasing student performance. Call me if you want to do the work. If you don't want to do the work, call somebody else. But if you want to move your school, I will help you, guaranteed. Love y'all. Black women, know that you're beautiful and you're wonderful, and ain't nobody that God created better than the Black woman. So thank you, and I appreciate you and everything you do.
Thank you, Dr. Abraham. And we're gonna have to start opening up our own schools. We keep waiting on, you said it earlier, we can't keep waiting on it. We've been talking about Black Educators Rock schools for a while. It's coming. No, I'm meeting with someone next week and he's talking about he's opening up his own school. So we're gonna be talking. And I have a friend that opens up charter schools. We got to figure some stuff out. We gotta help our babies. So thank you for taking time and joining us. And thank you for the work that you are also doing with our Black males. You know, no better example than someone who's gone that route, like you guys, all three of you, homeless, sleeping in their car. Mr. McGrone didn't get to tell his story. Dr. Jackson, powerful story of, growing up without and just, being those examples, those tangible examples for those Black boys. And I'm so appreciative of you all for that. So thank you, Dr. Abraham. Dr. Jackson, Dr. MJ.
Dr. Chester, once again, thank you for actually having me. And brothers, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Actually, I got me a couple notes as well. I got my little 2 pages of notes. I'm always going to soak up some knowledge. So I appreciate you guys for that. And most importantly, brothers, I hope you win. I hope you win in every single thing you do. And if anything I can do to help you win, I'm just a simple email, text away. And to my Black women, be there for us. We need you. We cannot do this work. We cannot move this mountain without you. So thank you for being you. And we just need you to be there for us. And we appreciate it.
Amen.
All right. So in closing, we are here for you all. Like I started the show off, thank you guys for everything that you do. You articulate, beautiful Black men, and we're going to do better. We're not going to try, Dr. Abraham, Mr. McGrone, Dr. Jackson. We're going to do better. And so you have my word that I will be doing better, and I will be talking to my queens about doing better. So thank you guys for taking time, and you guys enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night.
All right.
Good night.
All right, fellas.
So guys, do not forget about the scholarship opportunity, the micro credential. We have the micro credential opportunity from the American College of Education. I shared it in the Black Educators Rock group. We will also be putting that on the page. You must be a paid member to get that micro credential. Remember, a micro credential, it's a 9-hour certification that you're getting for distance learning and engagement. I shared that link in the chat, as well as we will be emailing it, as well as we will be sharing it on the page. And so that is the American College of Education, who we have a sponsorship and partnership with, and we're super excited about. They will also be providing some discounts on master's degrees, etc. PhD degrees. They're going to be giving discounts to us as members. And so make sure you are a paid member. Remember, membership has its privileges. And so thanks for watching Doc's Success Formula. And we look forward to having the conversation next week, guys, are the men and the women. And so they'll be on here together talking. And so send me your questions, send me your comments, send me anything that you want to see in between that show. And thank you for those who are watching: Carlene, Ashley, Carlos, Myra. Thank you for coming in and affirming my kings with me. I so appreciate all of you guys who are watching. And we will see you next Wednesday, same time, same place, 9 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your Winning Wednesday. Good night.